Everyone stick with us. It's us. It's Nick with us versus her, man. It's Friday. Woo! All right. Let's try this again. If it's your first time here, like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications when we go live, tap the bell. We go live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before market open. And if you want to join the UVH fam, our community, links are below in the description to the Discord and our options trading group on Facebook. If you're here right now, say what up. Say what's going on. Good morning. Right now we have S&P's up 32, Dow's up 273, NASDAQ up 82, and unemployment up to 14%. So, here we are. What's going on? Hank, Goldfish, Daniel Salyers, Sahil, Reggie, Lion, Jeff. How we doing this morning? Ready to make some money? Ready to lose some money? What side of the table do you think you guys are going to be on? The winning side or the losing side? For me right now, I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50 for me. We got some news going on. We had some earnings going on. And if Nick, Alex, it's been a flat. Yeah, it's been a premium burning week, and my Netflix 435 put has feeling the burn. I should have closed it out for break even yesterday. What was I thinking? And now it's back to burning premium. What's going on, Carl? So what's going on today? What is going on today? Hank this morning was asking about what I thought about gold if it breaks 1900. And the thing is, right now gold is not really talked about. Whatever the media is really talking about, such as like Bitcoin right now, it'll pump. Like back in 2009, 2010, the media loved to talk about gold, and gold was being pumped to oblivion. And here we are again with gold. Gold's down a little bit right now. Gold's at 1716. It's been struggling up in here. As you can see, we've just been kind of consolidating. I think, this is my personal opinion, of course, I think that it's consolidating and it's going to make its next run up. So I'm trying to see what I want to do here. It seems to be defending the 1700 area on gold, so I think it's going to push up. But right now, it's consolidating, it's waiting, and I think it's going to have a huge push up. So that's what I think, Hank. Could be totally wrong, but some people think Bitcoin can hit 70K. Sure, Bitcoin can hit 1 million. I mean, whatever somebody wants to pay for Bitcoin is what it will be. You know what I mean? Like, how much is somebody willing to pay for $1? How much is somebody willing to pay for gold, silver, oil? So the thing is with Bitcoin, the thing is it could go to whatever it can go to, right? And I'm trying to figure out what kind of utility it has. And of course, people are like, well, gold doesn't have a utility. You can't. But gold you can hold, and if your computer's flash drive or gets destroyed, you'll still have something left over. So I'm not against Bitcoin. I would like to see a wider adoption of Bitcoin, and then we'll see where we're gonna go. I don't know. Bitcoin payments are too slow. Ethereum, Litecoin, those types of things. I mean, I'm more interested in Bitcoin, but so. Unless, I mean, anything could happen, especially during the pandemic. Maybe Venezuela will see, we're gonna move over to Bitcoin instead of our dollar. So, I don't know. What other things are moving the market this morning is we are back in 2018, 2019, 2020. Here we are. U.S.-China trade negotiators talk about phase 1 deal. I thought we had a phase 1. I thought we signed the phase 1 deal and we were going to go to phase 2 out of 300. Billy's got like PTSD. I mean, the last, I will admit, like the last trade deal was very, 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 very frustrating. You know, the last trade deal was very frustrating because, I mean, any news would move the market, you know what I mean? And basically you had to like close your eyes and pin the tail on the donkey and hope for the best, you know? Billy, I agree. I really hate the tariff war, the trade deal news. And then this is how I anticipate it playing out. Okay, Steve Mnuchin's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be talking to the Chinese vice premier. We're gonna make a deal during this pandemic. And then, you know, we're gonna have Trump come out, bomb the whole thing, and be like, yo, the Chinese virus came out of Wuhan. We're gonna raise tariffs, counterproductive to what Steve Mnuchin is trying to do. And then it's going to mess up the headlines and mess up the algos, and we're gonna have a crazy time trading it. And that's the way that I feel is, you know, they're gonna try to do something, and then Trump's got a different idea, and then the two don't always align, you know. So, you know, I don't know. Yeah, and the 2020 election on top of that. I don't know. I thought the trade deal, I thought they were going to like kind of let it go, but here we are. They discussed matters concerning the economy and public health, including the Phase 1 trade deal they both signed. I guess they discussed the Phase 1 trade deal that they both signed in January. The call came as investors globally raised concerns over raising tensions between the U.S. and China. You know, Steve is always standing there. He's got like he's got like a stick up his, you know. It says he's like. Anyways, I mean, I don't know why I said that, guys. Sometimes I just don't know why I say certain things. So I'm trying to read this here real quick. It doesn't really say anything. It says during the call, both sides agreed that in spite of the current global health emergency, both countries fully expect to meet their obligations under the agreement in a timely manner. So maybe this news came out just because Trump said last week he wanted to raise tariffs, and they're like, yo, we're gonna chill. We're not gonna go crazy, you know. Yo, Tobin, what's going on with the Republican power pin the tail on the elephant? Trump is gonna be a winner in the trade talks. Is not. So, yeah, I think this was a game because last 2 weeks Trump said, "Hey, let's potentially raise tariffs because China's responsible for the coronavirus." Now, I think this news came out to kind of calm the markets. Honestly, you know, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's just make nice with China and let's just chill." I think I gotta get a new chair, guys. It's been uncomfortable last week or two. I mean, it's been hurting my back. If you're just joining, say what up. Hit the like button. Okay, jobs report. So the market's up right now. Jobs report from non-farm payrolls. 20.5 million jobs were lost in all of April. Unemployment rate to 14.7%. Economics had expecting a loss of 21.5 million. So good news, guys. We lost 20.5, not 21.5 million. So that was close. That was close. The real unemployment rate, which includes workers not looking for jobs and underemployed, surged to 22.8%. So, and I'm pretty sure the people that are on unemployment right now are not looking for jobs. I talked to some people that are currently on unemployment. They're like, yeah, man, me and my wife, we're collecting unemployment, making like $7-8 grand a month. You know, we're stacking and we're making more money than we ever had before. You know, I'm like, whoa. You know, and it's because they get that extra. Each person gets an extra $2,400 a month. So if you and your wife are unemployed, you're making $4,800 more a month on unemployment than you normally wouldn't have. Now, what's going to happen is when they cut that off, what happens? Because it wasn't that I don't know the exact specifics because I wasn't looking at unemployment, but isn't it only for like an 8-week period? So Daniel Boyd, what's up? China is not good at negotiating. Simply have more aces. Gonna have to pay taxes on that too. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the people I wonder how many people flying that were on unemployment before or making more than they were at their job are like, man, this is a sweet deal. I'm gonna chill, you know. Probably a lot. Probably a lot. So right now, we're going to get into some of the earnings plays. You know, I have Dropbox. I bought a debit spread. I'm holding July 22 calls. So Dropbox is up quite a bit right now. Let me pull this up. 8K on unemployment, Carl. No lie. They got the receipts. To prove it. Dropbox rises after company posts. Hey, real quick, is my interactions with you guys feel like they're real time or not? I'm trying to adjust some settings here on YouTube. Does my interaction with you in the chat feel like it's more real time or not really? Real delayed. I know sometimes I don't read the comments right away. Like Goldfish, I didn't read that comment right away. Yo, my son on unemployment, hate to say it, is loving it. He has paid off his credit card debt and saving. Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's using unemployment to pay off credit debt and not like going to Costco and popping TVs off and getting Xboxes and new stuff, like if he's investing in himself, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? What's going on, Matthew, Adele, Aditya? Real time. Okay, because I've been I've been messing around. I'm on ultra low latency. I'm trying to make sure the thing is with I'm trying to upgrade my equipment here, and on ultra low latency, I think I do upload in 1080p. However, if I wanted to go to 4K, I can't stream in ultra low latency. So I've been messing with it. All right, thanks, Ryan. Daniel get $875 a week. It's true. I forgot to tell you in the rest of the herd, I went back to work Monday. Well, Tobin, going back to work I think is good, right? Carl's making $96K a year. Yo, Chad, great. Thank you so much, man. So Dropbox is profitable for the first time since 2018. Pretty big. You know, I don't think this article was updated because they said guidance is going to come on the call. They had a big quarter. Net income $39.3 million. I mean, obviously Dropbox, if you think about Dropbox, it's a small company. If their net income, you know, $39.3 million, you know, revenues at $455 million, they're a relatively small company, right? Revenue at $455 million for a quarter is a small company. So just be mindful of that with people, and people are like, oh yeah, Dropbox should be going to 200 and stuff like that. Just be mindful of their market cap, you know. But revenue grew 18% in the quarter. It's down from 19% growth in the fourth quarter, but you know they're in the black. They're profitable. So, you know, be mindful of Dropbox. When I was looking at Dropbox here yesterday, it really broke out. There was a lot of buying yesterday, so I put on a debit spread. There was a lot of premium crush there's a lot of premium was overvalued, and so what I did is I bought July because IV was only at 50%, and if this can pop back up, right now I have the 22. What is it at? It's at 22.75, so I have the 22 call, and I think this could pop back up to like last earnings. I mean, this popped up to 24 and then faded before, but I feel like it wasn't fair because it popped up on earnings, and then we had the coronavirus, and then it popped back down. You know, we had extreme selling in the markets, and then now it's making another run up here. But I think if it hits the 23-24 area, I think this time it is going to try to get back up to like the 25-26 area. Now, I'm not going to push it that high. I'll probably take the trade off at 24. No, Billy, they said they discussed the phase one deal to kind of calm the markets in relations to Trump's remarks due to him saying he wants to do some stuff with the tariffs, which would then not honor the phase one deal. So they discussed the phase one deal. So That's what it is. So what am I? Starbucks. Yeah, Billy. Let's talk about Starbucks. Let's talk about Roku. I have a position on Roku. So Starbucks. Let's talk about Starbucks and we'll talk about Roku. So Starbucks, I think. Let's see here. Man, yesterday was insane run. I probably should have traded that, but just the rate that it moves is just so slow. We have to, like, what I'm doing now, whatever day trades I think I'm putting on, I make sure I have enough time in case it turns into a swing trade. Because with the slow markets, with the markets only moving overnight mostly, my day trades a lot of time have been coming into swing trades. So if you have a day trade and you line it up for today and it has to work today and the market's slow, you're probably going to screw yourself, you know? So what I've been doing is pushing the time out because the market's not moving faster in the day. It's just not. But I like Starbucks here. You know, it came down from earnings and now it's pushing back up from the 72. It's pushing back up after hours right now, 77. So I definitely do think it's going to make another run at 80. This is going to be interesting right here. That's what I think. Roku. So Roku, I'm currently in. I put on an iron condor. I sold the 138 puts at the money, and then I bought the 150 call, the 125 put. Now Roku. Carl, so for spreads, I've been going longer, like 50, 60 days out. But for, like, if I buy a naked call or put, I'll go like 10, 15 days, you know, 2 weeks. So Roku reports strong user growth. However, their ad business is not so good. So essentially that's why they went down. People's ads are struggling. Companies, I mean, Google announced that they're not going to spend, they're cutting their ad spend by 50% this year, you know, on the other channel, on the Us versus Herd channel. Ad revenue for me personally down 70%. You know, it's down 70%. So I'm not surprised by this. What I was surprised was Snapchat and Facebook how well their ads business are doing. You know, so you know, Roku reported earnings. They lost 45 cents a share. Revenue was $321 million. Wall Street anticipated a loss of 45 cents on revenue of $307 million. So, you know, they did relatively good. I don't know. Did they give guidance? It said Roku said it gained 2.9 incremental active accounts in the quarter, reaching 39.8 million total, a 37% increase year over year. So, I mean, yes, they increased it. Streaming hours surged because everybody's sitting at home. Agreed. So I think the main issue was that their advertising. It says some companies like Google and Facebook reported signs of recovery in their advertising businesses. Now, I don't think that they reported a recovery in their advertising. They said that it leveled off. I remember specifically. I mean, do you guys remember something different, or am I making this up? I thought that Google and Facebook, what they said was advertising took a hit, but it seemed to have leveled off. Like the bleeding has stopped, but we're still down from where we were in January and February, you know? Disney, why is it up? Shanghai Disney tickets sold out. Shanghai Disney sold out. And I was going to put a debit spread on Disney, put spread, and I didn't do it. That's what I get. But yeah, Roku I need like right around, like I need above 125 area to be profitable on this trade. You know, I got a $9 credit, probably looking to make $100 or so. We'll see what happens. If this could push up to like 130, 135 today, I would be very, very happy. But Disney, but yeah, let's talk about Disney. Shanghai Disney's opening back up soon, and it's going to trigger my alert here. Their tickets sold out. Let's see if I can pull it up. Was reading about it this morning. Shanghai Disneyland tickets to reopening sell out in minutes. So I don't know, when does it open here? Does it say? Shanghai Disney sold out for its May 11th reopening. So it's gonna open. It's gonna reopen on Monday. So be mindful if you're short. If you're short Disney, be careful. You might get ripped a new one. You might get ripped a new one. If you guys would do me the favor, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. They're at 30% capacity in Disney parks. Yeah, so they're going to be at lower capacity. So I mean, I think that this is kind of a sell the news event, but at the same time, I don't think that Disney's going to go much lower. I mean, honestly, any good news for Disney is going to pump the stock up like unreasonably. The bad news, like you were saying, Daniel, bad news is over. Ricardo, morning, made it on time today. Well, I started, if you were here 20 minutes ago, I don't know if you were here 20 minutes ago, but that would be on time. But you're on time for market open. I know a lot of people like on the West Coast have a hard time making it to market open because it's like, what is it, 5 a.m. at your time when the market opens? That's the one thing, that's the one thing that got me. I don't know if you guys listened to the motivational speaker Eric Thomas, but he was talking to a group of people on the West Coast, and he was saying, he's saying he gets up at like 3 a.m. On the especially like on the West Coast and stuff like that. And he was saying like, how can you be sleeping past 4 or 5 a.m. when there's people on the other side of the country already making decisions about your life, and that really spoke to me. That, I mean, he has a point. Is like, okay, there's people in New York right now. I'm Central Time. They're an hour ahead of me. There's people that are, if you're looking to compete, if you're looking to be the best, and you're sleeping in 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, there's people that have already made decisions about your life on the other side of the country, and then are pushing to be better versions of themselves while you're sleeping. So it was a little bit of eye-opening. So Shanghai Disney, be mindful. Shanghai Disney is going to be reopening Monday, so be very, very, very careful if you're short. That's why I could never live out there. You're always 3 hours behind. Yeah, Matthew, I know you're on the East Coast. Hope you're staying safe over there. Ricardo, I'm Eastern. That's why I'm here earlier. Just got my hands full at work. I feel it. DocuSign. Do I think DocuSign will drop? I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. I mean, look at this. I was trading DocuSign a bit like last week, and I was doing well. The thing is, the one thing that really turns me off about the market is the extremely slow pace, and that's something I need to work on. Is just because it's slow pace doesn't mean there's not opportunity, and that's something that I just need to work on. Just because the market is slow paced doesn't mean I'm opportunity. It just means that you need to take a longer amount of time for that trade to work out. I mean, DocuSign went from basically 102 earlier this week up to 119. Huge move, right? This is a gigantic move. However, the rate that I got there, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just like, this is the 5-minute chart. I mean, excruciating. And then we had a huge drop. It was like, oh, all this, and then we have a huge drop back to where we started, and then it climbed back up, and then it climbed back up yesterday and just gapped up and flat, So kind of what it's telling me is you really got to trade the gap ups and the gap downs, because intraday has just been sucking the options out, Nick, time at 8 a.m. down here in Houston, Texas. Yep, because Houston Central Time, so is Chicago, so I'm in Central. Yeah, that's the one thing I've wanted to move to California, but I don't know. The times are gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not a morning person, and I've turned into more of a morning person. The only reason why is because I have kids. If I didn't have kids, I don't know, because I also stay up really late. So I stay up really late. I prefer to stay up late versus getting up in the morning, but when you have kids, I mean, it changes everything. So, let's see, Apple, Jackson, Apple. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple 305, so it's gapping up a little bit. So the one thing I will say about the gap up this morning is it's looking a little weak. If we look at Uber's up to 32. Whew. If we're looking at SPY, I mean, we've just been kind of flattened out now. Are we going to be pushing up here? Is Apple going to be pushing up 305? So we're going to gap up. We're going to gap up like $2, but are there going to be people that want to buy? I mean, this Apple has been on an amazing run here, and it's right now. It's basically 303 is like at resistance, 304 area. We're basically at resistance. Is it going to get rejected here? I would be very careful. I would be very careful right here. It could get rejected. I mean, this is insane. This is insane to me that in the pandemic, Apple is recovering the way that it is. Now, I do think that we're going to probably see like something similar. It's going to, we had a dip and then go back up, and then we have a little dip, and then I think 2020 we're going to have a year of two-sided action. And while the market tries to price us out, now I don't think we're going to have like super extreme buying, and I don't think we're going to have super extreme selling, but I think that we're just going to be kind of, in a range. And I think that is going to be amazing because for options traders, we can make money going up and down and creating range, Not worth it. Weather is nice, but traffic is horrible. Traffic's bad here too, man. And it's never been fixed. My whole life I've been in the Chicago area. Traffic's always been terrible. Terrible. Whoa. I'm confused by that. Can you touch on it? So the Apple bond offering. So essentially what Apple is doing is, okay, they have how many billions in their bank, right? I don't even know anymore. Over 200 billion. They're basically getting cheap loans to buy back their own stock. So that's what they're doing, and that's why things are popping off. So they're, Apple's investing in stock buybacks. They're funding it through loans, and that's essentially what is happening there with the bond offerings. Basically cheap funding to buy back stock and not impact their cash. I don't know if it's right or not, but it's a business tactic you can use. It's like, would you rather pay it with your own cash, or would you rather keep your cash, or would you rather use somebody else's cash at a very low rate? That's the decision. Like, we don't know. I mean, probably in Apple's they don't know how long the pandemic is going to go. I mean, I'm sure they have enough cash to last a long time, but they don't know how long it's going to go. They don't know how damaging it's to the business, so they're gonna keep their cash. They're really cash rich, right? So why not use somebody else's cash to buy back stock? And it'll be good for their stock price, and it will ensure confidence in the stock, and it'll get people to invest. And it's good. It's basically good marketing, If they said, "Hey, we're halting stock buybacks and dividends," how do you think that's going to do for the stock? Probably not good, So that's essentially what they're doing. They're using other people's money to buy back the stock versus using their own money, which it's good. I think it's good. I mean, you could say, hey, should people be buying back their own stock and stuff like that? And like, I think if you're Apple, you could do whatever you want because you're so cash rich. Even they could pay off those loans and be fine. They could pay off those loans and be fine. So that is why they're doing it. They save the cash, use other people's money, buy back the stock, good PR, good marketing. They keep the stock going from dropping too far, and also they get to keep their dividend. Win-win for everybody. Win-win for the investor, win-win for Apple. They're not going to be worried about it. And even if they, let's say they didn't make any more money and they needed to pay the bonds, they could pay the bonds, They could pay the loans, they could pay whatever they want. They had the money. They may not make an acquisition, but they can pay off their debt, They're rich. Yeah, right now you're probably gonna see a lot of companies try to do that type of scenario. They may have cash in the bank, but they are going to. Okay, Roku just opened up. Let's see what Roku's doing here. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stocks that are gonna try to probably take that route. Carmine, Boeing. I don't trade the 1 minute candle. Okay, so Roku. I need some options contracts to be traded here. Right now, it's saying I'm down $20. Not too bad. So yeah, Disney gapped up, Tony. We were just talking about that. Shanghai Disney sold out of tickets. Probably sell the news event, but be careful. The other thing that I wanted to cover was I'll cover Boeing in a second, Carmine. Tesla's going to resume limited operations on Friday, so be careful. The news on that today. Tesla's up $12 right now. Okay, so they're going to bring back 30% of their employees. Now, people are like, "Well, that's not that good," whatever. Bringing back 30% of your employees to work is better than 0%. So that's why the stock will go up probably, and it is currently. Boeing is, yeah, I mean it's gapping up, but let's see what it does. Market's selling a little bit. We got Netflix down a little bit here, down to 434. I need it to like 430 area. 425 would be a gift. What candles do you trade? I trade the 5-minute candles and the 15-minute candles, but I'm probably just going to stick to the 15-minute candles now. I moved to the 5-minute candles when the market was moving really fast, but right now I'm probably just going to be relying on the 15-minute candle because the market is moving extremely, extremely slow. So I typically try to slow things down a bit. When the market's moving slow, we need to move slow. Okay? Getting in and out of trades and doing all that, it's not in your best interest. A lot of times you're not going to get the best pricing. Okay, I'm up a little bit on Dropbox. So Dropbox, I'm up 14%. So not amazing, but I don't think I got really any premium crush. I need it to move a little bit higher. And we got Netflix coming down. So the market is trying to digest this gap. That's what I've been noticing about the market lately is that we've had these huge gap ups, and then the market takes its time to digest that information. Like, okay, let's see what we're gonna do. We'll see what's gonna happen, and then it makes a move, right? Uber's up another 7%. What's Lyft doing right now? Lyft's up another 3.5%. I mean, Uber and Lyft had huge days yesterday. What were they up like over 20%? I mean, it's crazy. Daniel, AUY. Let's take a look here. So I don't know too much about this company, but looking at the chart, I mean, it's obviously going up. I mean, obviously nothing can really slow it down. It really hasn't had a down day since April, early April. And I mean like a real down day, like a couple red days in a row like this. And it really hasn't had any of that. Any idea what's going on with Square? I mean, it is Friday. I mean, it had a huge ramp up, could be fading a little bit, so it had a pop, right? Had a pop, and it could be just kind of gravitating. Now, Square likes this 65-60 area, and yes, it popped up on earnings, but it could definitely gravitate back down to where it likes to be, where it's comfortable. I always look at where the stock likes to be comfortable at as more of like a magnet. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come back there, but as you can see, a lot of times it does. So you see it popped up and then it came back down to where it likes to be. Created some consolidation, popped up, and then we had the major sell-off, and then it came back to where it likes to be, 65, 60 area. And now it popped up, but now it looks like it may want to come back to where it likes to be, and that's really what I was looking at. But man, the market opened up and it's moving super slow. Let's see what Disney's doing right now. Disney got hit 108. Yeah, I mean 108, 110 area, definitely something to be mindful of. 110, 111 on Disney is rejection area, so just be careful of that. But any good news for Disney right now? Now, if I think what could be very dangerous is if people rush into Disney like they are right now, and let's say it opens up and Disney's going up and up and up, and people are going to Disney, and then a lot of people get sick, and then they have to close it again, then that stock is going to get obliterated. You know what I mean? Let's see, Twilio. Twilio, I traded in the past. I kind of stayed away from it because it has a very low volume. However, the movement is very good, and this is looking like it's getting set up for a little bit of a fade as well. So when you have a gap up this much, the stock has to digest this. I mean, sure, it could run up, it could keep running up, but this is massive, and eventually, I'm not saying it's going to happen today, this week, or even this year, or even in the next 5 years, but eventually this gap may be filled. You know what I mean? So you want to be careful. And when a stock moves big, it needs to digest the move. Now, digesting it could be like, okay, well, it popped up to 176 and it settles in at 160 and just kind of flatlines and goes back up, or it just fades all the way down. You know what I mean? We were looking at, like, what was it? Ford? Was it Ford? Something similar to this, where we had earnings and then it fades back. Something similar to this. This is not as dramatic, of course, but these huge pops up, this pop up, gap up, and then it faded, pop up, faded. So Twilio is obviously a lot different than Ford. I'm just using it as like a chart example. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful buying the dip on a stock that has gapped up so huge. I mean, sure. I mean, it could run. Maybe it could run a 200 after I digest a little bit, and it could move, and you could miss it. And you'd be like, man, I knew it. I should have done this. I should have done that. But you don't want to get your face ripped off. So I guess it depends on what you're willing to risk. What are you willing to risk? Because a chart like this, you have a good chance of going to zero. You have a good chance of going max loss. Tesla, they're up on good news of reopening the Fremont plant right now. I'm thinking it looks bullish. It tapped 700, went all the way up to 850. I think it looks relatively bullish. Unless something really terrible happens, there's like no taking down Tesla. I don't know what it is. They don't even make money, but there's no taking it down. Nobody can take down Tesla. Why? I don't know. But that's the current situation on Tesla. California lifted health and safety restrictions on manufacturing on Thursday, but that shift does not override county level restrictions. Cool. It's got a cool name. So, Tesla has always been one of those stocks that you have to just believe in Elon. You have to believe in the product for the long term. It's not a stock that you can say, oh yeah, today it's, it's going to be profitable, or today. This stock is not something you invest in for today. It's something you invest in for 10 years, I thought I did well. I made 100%. I bought the stock down at 150 and I sold it around 330. I thought I did well. And it's the long term. But the thing is, if I would have held the stock, the stock was in a range for like 2 to 3 years. So I wouldn't have made money on that anyways until it eventually broke out. So the question was like for me, as a shareholder, I bought stock at like 150. It kept going up to 300, getting rejected. It came down to like 200, would rip back up, then go back up to 300, get rejected. And, there was a lot of bad press, blah, blah, blah. And, I probably should just close my eyes and held on to it, of course. But you don't know. I mean, Tesla could have went out of business and I could have lost my money, Yeah, except for Elon when he says the price is too like I'm trying to think. What was his motive behind that? Was it just to? I really think that because he was going on a rant about the coronavirus, and I think that he said I think now I could be totally off base because who knows what he's thinking. But this is my take. I think what he was thinking when he was tweeting about the coronavirus and let the people be free, that saying he tweeted that about Tesla because he wanted to take a hit in his wealth. So that way he can make those comments, I'm not going to getting my face ripped off, Tobin. I think that's why I said it's like, hey guys, I'm willing to take a wealth hit for the people to be free, And Netflix is up, not good for my position. Cruise stocks are going up. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the 1 year chart, let's say like RCL for instance. I mean, it's still not doing great. Not doing great. So I would be careful buying the dips because each pop gets sold off pretty hard. D-Dog, Datadog. So I mean Datadog. If I don't know if you guys are familiar with Datadog, but Datadog is an AWS basically add-on to help you track your usage and help you deploy and do all this stuff in AWS. What I would love to happen is for Amazon to buy Datadog, and now that's broken above resistance here. It looks like right now it popped up, but now it's back below the 50 mark. So I would be very careful here. I mean, it's been going straight up. No complaints there. But what's it going to do here? Looks like there's some sellers up in here. If it can hold above 50, I mean, I would be interested in getting a little bit long. Their options are not that great. I mean, pretty low volume. I mean, their call volume for next week, not bad. Put volume obviously nearly zero. The call volume for June not great. So you have to trade that. The next week looks relatively well. June not so good, but next week volume, the pricing looks pretty good. But $5 wide strikes though, not really loving that for next week. So you'd have to go for like a in the money option, like the 49. But I don't know if that's going to give you enough time. Might be better buying the 50 strike 30 cent wide markets here. 50 strike for June. Might be better off doing that. I think I'm late. Did we talk Apple yet? We did absolutely talk to Apple, Adam. Way late. I'm signing off soon, man. I stream for about 50 minutes a day in the morning. And I've been streaming for currently 43 minutes. But Martin Leo, let's talk about LOGI. Let's take a look at this. LOGI, we'll talk about Baba. Logitech. So I own an IT company outside of what I do here with Us Research, and the one thing about Logitech is when everyone shifted to a remote workplace, you could not buy a single peripheral Logitech. All sold out. Webcams were sold out. Keyboards were sold out. Anything that you needed to build a office at your home or remote was gone. And it still was. Like as of last week, you can't buy a webcam. You go to bestbuy.com, can't buy a webcam. You go to Amazon, they don't have any webcams. So I am not surprised. I mean, it's above resistance. I mean, this I think is going to keep pushing. The longer that we're working from home, I mean, it's good for Logitech. It's great for Logitech. When you see a stock like this and there's healthy demand for it, I mean, there's no complaints. Alibaba. So Alibaba, I used to Alibaba used to be basically my bread and butter, my main money maker. I used to make bags on Alibaba, and why I got away from it was mostly due to the trade war. And what really left a sour taste in my mouth was when basically the US government said that they might delist Chinese stocks from the exchanges. And then I said, that's it. I got to go because I didn't get hurt in that, thankfully. But if the government has that much impact on a company or a stock, I can't have a part in it, and because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. It's like buying a penny stock. You don't know if it's going out of business the next day. So I haven't really traded it since then. However, I am looking to get a little bit more interested in Alibaba, and it swings a lot. I think that I will start adding it again. I mean, I like the company. I like what it's doing. It's looking bullish to me. The one thing that you want to be a little bit careful of here is that these highs are not descending. So like if it pops, let's say it pops up to like 206, 207, makes a high here. Now then that will be like more of a descending pattern. Now, this could, I think what's happening here is it's creating a pretty tight triangle. I do think it's going to pop up to like 207, 208. But it may get rejected there. But there's Alibaba is a high growth company. And it's good. So, Nick, can you tell people different option strategies and have you used the Theta Gang method? What's the Theta Gang method? Are you referring to like? So I used to sell a lot of premium. I've kind of gotten away from. I used to like sell premium exclusively. And I used to have something called Theta Thursday where I'd load up on a lot of premium and I would sell it and go to zero, right? I've kind of gotten away from that because I mix in a lot of different strategies now. I mix in a lot of different strategies. I do a lot of different things. I buy premium, I sell premium, I do iron condors, I sell naked calls, I sell naked puts. I mean, I kind of do whatever I need to do to win. Yo, Adam, thanks for subscribing, man. Nick, IP, and yes, Sunlight. Let's talk about AMD. So I mean, this just looks like it's trending up too. It's going slow, and this is what I mean by like stocks that are moving slow. Yeah, you're gonna have some like when you're trading options right now, you're gonna have to account for days it's gonna go against you, but at the end of the day, the trend is your friend. You don't fight the trend, and right now the trend is in the bull's favor. It's bottomed out here. It made a low here. It made a low here. It made a low here. Now, if it comes back down to 32 and it breaks that, you should be worried. But until then, it's looking all right. It's looking all right. AMD. Yeah, let's look at AMD. So AMD did exactly what I said to be careful about. If you're new to this stream and stuff, we talk about AMD a couple times a week, especially around earnings. And when it pushed up at earnings, prior to earnings, I didn't actually trade it for earnings because I wasn't sure what it was going to do. I knew that there's going to be strong demand for it. I knew the stock was going to do relatively well. However, we had this huge run up on AMD. It topped out at 58, right? And I'm like, okay, this could gap up above the resistance here. We know there's sellers up in here. We can see that, and we know that there's sellers up in here because it's been selling off a little bit at 58, but it came back up to 58. So I said, hey, be very careful. We got to be very careful up in here because this could top out, and that's what it did. What it needs to do now, it needs to build enough strength to get through this. Now there's an even bigger wall of sellers right here, and and we know this. We know this based on what the chart is telling us. So the chart is telling us, okay, AMD, it's a good company, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what you think about the company. It's pushing back. It's pushing. When it pushes 58, there's a wall of sellers right here. Why is that? Why do people want to sell this? Why do people want to sell this at 58? And that's what, it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really matter why, it just matters that they are. So once it can get above 60, I think you're in the clear. 60, 62, you're in the clear. But right now, you want to be really careful. You know, and people think, oh, it keeps tapping 58. Eventually, it's going to break through, and then it didn't. You know, so you want to be careful up in here. You know, I do like it leveling out at 52, and I do think it could come back up to like the 58, 56 area. But it's going to need some strength. It's going to need some strength. Theta getting his covered calls on weeklies, I believe. I haven't done that, but I could for sure. Though Jason, Roku's coming back. Yeah, I'm up $90 on Roku right now. I wasn't even looking. So we up a little bit on not Roku. Yeah, it's making a run. I want it to come up, but 130 is getting rejected, so we'll see what happens. I want it to come up a little bit higher. If we can come back up a little bit higher, we're gonna be gold. Netflix causing me some problems though, so we'll see what happens. Netflix causing some problems. So, anyways, guys, it's been a fun stream. I'm gonna hop off here. I'll be in the Discord, Facebook, you name it. Hit me up. You guys stay safe today. Have a good weekend. You know, enjoy the weather, grill, spend some time with your family, have fun. You know, and then Sunday get back to the charts. So, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.